welcome back to Bryce Tinley Music. Today's lesson we're talking about bar chords. The major and the minor on top of the E string. You can play bar chords on two strings, the E and the A. Today we're going to learn the E, and next lesson we'll learn the A. Okay? Now in previous lessons I've asked you to learn all the notes on the strings of the guitars, but particularly the top two. Using the musical alphabet. Now, keeping it nice and simple, the reason we've learnt those is because what each note is going to become the chord. Now, what I mean by that is we know that this is the E string, the low E string. We know then that this note is F, this note is F sharp, and this note is G. Okay? Now, using bar chords, what we do is we make a whole new chord in a different spot. And if we know that this note is G, the chord we're going to make is going to be a G. Because this note, this G chord, the normal G chord you already know, is the same chord but played in a different spot here. Pretty cool, right? That expands more later, but let's just keep it at that for now. So what it is your normal chords that you already know, played in different places in different ways. Okay? So make sure if you don't know all the notes on the top two strings, this is the time to pause it and go back. But if not, we'll just keep going, okay? Now, we're going to start with the major chord. Now, the beautiful thing about these chords is that you already know the shapes. I've talked previously about knowing the basic shapes of chords in the C, A, D, G, E chords, those major ones. So, the major bar chord is just an E shape, but as the name suggests, with a bar. So what I mean by that is you're going to get your pointer finger and press it. In this case, we're going to use the 3rd fret. We're going to press it down on the 3rd fret. This might take some practice because you have to get the finger strength for it because it can be quite hard, right? And it's not necessarily completely flat. It's more slightly angled. Like you make it flat and then you roll it just a little bit. Okay, now you might find you really like it flat, but I find it's easier if I turn my finger a little bit and I pinch hard with my thumb on the back. Okay? Good thing to practice is just to go through each note, like all the chords, the beginning chords, to make sure that there's no buzzing. Okay? Now, we have our finger, our pointer finger's here. Our ring finger was going to go on the 5th fret of the A string. Our pinky is going to go just below it on the 5th fret of the D string. And now, our middle finger is going to go on the 4th fret of the G string, making that sound. As you can see, if I was to take my pointer finger off and put this where the E chord is, that's just an E shape using different fingers. It's the same thing, right? So you already know the shape, it's just using different fingers, right? And what this pointer finger is doing, imagine that it's actually cutting the neck off, right? So what it's actually doing is just making the neck shorter because your finger becomes this. So that's an E. My finger's cut off the guitar top at the G note here, making this G major. Make sense? So imagine you're almost cutting it off at the note, and that's what the note now is, G. The same would work for if I put this on the 5th fret. That is an A chord, A major. See how it sounds happy? Major. Same things if I go to the B. Same thing if I go to the C. Same thing if I go to the D. Same thing if I go to the E. This is the same chord as this, except you're making the neck shorter and working almost like a capo. Make sense? Pretty easy? Cool. Well, if that's the major chord, that shape, well, we know what a minor an E minor looks like. It's just the two notes held down there. So applying the same logic, all you're doing is going to bar, as the bar chord suggests, and make an E minor shape on top of the chord. So let's again start on the 3rd fret. I'm going to bar, right? And get my ring finger, 5th fret of the A string, my pinky finger on the 5th fret of the D string, and I'm going to bar. That is a G minor. That is an A minor going up to the 5th fret. Same finger pattern, same holding. For the minors, I often use my middle finger to help support my pointer finger. It just makes the chord feel stronger for me, but you don't have to. You can keep it out. All right? You keep going. Then you C, your B, you hit your C, your D, you hit your E. Okay, so what you should know now is you should know your major shape, E major shape with a bar, and you should know your minor shape, E minor shape with a bar. Make sense? It's all good? Cool. Well, now what's worth practicing is substituting chords in songs you already know. I do suggest you learn songs outside of this channel. I'm not going to teach any of them, and if I do, then I'll eat my hat, right? But what I suggest is if you're going to learn Time of Your Life by Green Day, so the G to C and 9 to D, right? Try substituting chords. So we know that this is a G, but this is also a G major. So you could go C to D. Learning songs is also a fantastic way of learning new chords. It's probably the best way I found. All guitar, when put into practice and learning songs, is the most efficient way to practice. It's one thing to get your finger strength. It's another thing to push yourself and learn a new song. Okay? So all you need to remember is the notes on the top 2 strings, the major shape for the bar chord on the E shape, and the E minor shape. Fantastic. Well, I hope this video was helpful. Next video we'll be covering more bar chords on different strings, so stick around for that. But until then, enjoy your guitar playing, and I'll see you next time.